Elder morth'ka had seen the rise and fall of 17 galactic civilizations, which gave him a unique perspective on stupidity. As the last surviving member of the Keeper race, he possessed what lesser beings might call wisdom, though the current Galactic Council preferred to call it senile rambling from a fossil. 200 years ago, when those bipedal mammals from the third rock orbiting an unremarkable yellow star first knocked on the galaxy's door, morth'ka had been there. The humans arrived in ships held together with what appeared to be metal tape and sheer audacity, asking politely if they could join the big kids' table of galactic politics meeting. The council had found them absolutely precious. Here were these creatures who had barely figured out faster-than-light travel, still fighting wars over invisible lines on their homeworld, offering to contribute to galactic civilization. It was like a toddler volunteering to help with brain surgery, adorable and completely misguided. But morth'ka remembered something the others had missed during the humans' admission ceremony. When asked about their military capabilities, the human representative, a woman named President Martinez, had smiled in a way that made morth'ka's ancient spine tingle with recognition. He had seen that smile before, carved into the faces of warrior statues from dead civilizations. Honorable council members, morth'ka had wheezed through his breathing apparatus after the humans left. I must warn you about these new members. My people have encountered species like this before. They appear peaceful, yes, but beneath that facade lies something far more dangerous. Chancellor Snobbington, even then a pompous windbag with delusions of intellectual superiority, had waved a dismissive tentacle. Elder morth'ka, with respect, your age may be affecting your judgment. These humans are clearly a docile species. Did you see their primitive weapons? Their quaint notions of honor? They practically apologized for existing. That is precisely what concerns me, morth'ka had insisted. Never give them a reason to fight. Promise me this, Council. Whatever you do, never give humans a reason to truly fight. The Council had voted to officially classify humans as adorably primitive and filed morth'ka's warning under elderly concerns, subcategory probably nothing. They gave humanity a small section of space to call their own and a minor voice in galactic affairs, like giving a child a toy steering wheel to keep them busy while the adults drove. For 2 centuries, this arrangement had worked beautifully. Humans contributed to galactic culture with their bizarre entertainment, their inexplicable fondness for pets, and their disturbing tendency to befriend anything with a pulse. They were the galaxy's favorite little siblings, harmless and amusing. morth'ka, meanwhile, had spent those 2 centuries watching and waiting, growing more concerned as he observed human behavior. They were too quiet, too cooperative, too willing to smile and nod when larger species pushed them around. In his experience, truly dangerous predators were often the most polite. Now, as he sat in his observation chamber watching the current council session, morth'ka felt the familiar chill of impending catastrophe. The galaxy was about to learn why his people had carved warnings about species like humans into stone monuments that outlasted stars. Ambassador Rex Bulldozer represented humanity at the Galactic Council, though represented might be too generous a term. His job consisted mainly of sitting quietly while other species made decisions about the galaxy, occasionally being allowed to speak when the topic concerned human affairs. Rex had the patience of a saint and the diplomatic skills of a seasoned negotiator, which made what was about to happen all the more tragic. The current crisis had begun 3 months ago when the Zephyrian Empire decided that the human colony of New Detroit looked particularly appealing. New Detroit was a mining world that had the misfortune of sitting on top of rare crystals that the Zephyrians wanted for their latest doomsday weapon project. Chancellor Snobbington, a being who resembled a purple octopus wearing a bureaucrat's wig, called the session to order with his typical condescending flair. Today we address the minor territorial dispute between the Zephyrian Empire and the human settlement designated New Detroit. Rex raised his hand politely. Chancellor, with respect, this isn't a territorial dispute. The Zephyrians bombarded our colony without warning, killed 3,000 civilians, and are currently strip mining the planet. General Stabsworth, the Zephyrian military representative, clicked his mandibles in what passed for laughter among his species. The humans exaggerate, as always. We simply relocated the inhabitants to make room for more efficient resource extraction. Relocated them into graves, Rex muttered, then cleared his throat and tried again with diplomatic language. The Scifian action constitutes an unprovoked attack on a sovereign human world. We request Council intervention under Article 12 of the Galactic Peace Accords. Snobbington examined his tentacle manicure with elaborate boredom. Ambassador Bulldozer, the Council has reviewed this matter extensively. The humans have occupied that world for merely 50 years, while the Scifians have historical claims dating back 2 centuries. Historical claims? Rex's diplomatic mask slipped slightly. They have a receipt from a gas station 2 star systems away. Documentation is documentation, Snobbington sniffed. Furthermore, the Council notes that humanity lacks the military capability to effectively utilize such valuable resources. The Scifians can make better use of these crystals for the greater galactic good. Rex stood up slowly, his hands clenched at his sides. Chancellor, are you seriously telling me that might makes right? That because we can't fight back, we don't deserve to exist? The council chamber erupted in what could charitably be called laughter. Species from across the galaxy chittered, gurgled, and buzzed their amusement at the human's naive question. Of course, might made right. That was how the galaxy had always worked. Ambassador Bulldozer, Snobbington said with the tone one might use with a particularly slow child, surely you understand that the galaxy operates on principles of strength and efficiency. Your species has contributed many delightful cultural elements to our civilization, but military prowess is not among them. Perhaps it would be best if humanity focused on what you do well, entertainment and pet grooming, while leaving matters of territorial significance to more capable species. Rex sat down heavily, his face carefully neutral. I see. And I suppose the 3 other human colonies that have been attacked this month are also territorial disputes. Minor border adjustments, General Stabsworth clicked dismissively. Growing pains as the galaxy optimizes resource allocation. Right. Rex's voice had gone very quiet, which should have been anyone's first warning sign. So when the hegemony glass knew Phoenix last week, that was optimization? The hegemony needed that system for strategic purposes, Snobbington explained patiently. Surely you can see the logic. Rex nodded slowly and made a note in his datapad. Optimization. Got it. And when the consortium enslaved the population of New Harmony? The humans of New Harmony are receiving valuable job training in the service industry, another council member chimed in helpfully. As slaves. As entry-level employees with limited mobility options. Rex wrote that down too, his stylus making small scratching sounds in the suddenly quiet chamber. When he looked up, his smile was perfectly diplomatic and utterly terrifying to anyone who knew how to read human expressions. Well then, council members, I believe I understand the situation perfectly. Thank you for clarifying humanity's position in galactic affairs. Over the following weeks, the attacks on human settlements escalated from minor territorial disputes to what any reasonable observer might call systematic genocide, that, though the Galactic Council preferred the term aggressive urban renewal. Rex dutifully reported each atrocity, his requests for aid growing more desperate as the body count climbed. Captain Buck Neutron arrived at the council chambers during the 3rd week of what historians would later call the Great Galactic Oops. Buck commanded the human defense vessel Defiant Mediocrity, one of the few military ships humanity was allowed to maintain under galactic law. He swaggered into the chamber with the confidence of someone who had clearly never read the fine print of several important treaties. Ambassadors, Buck announced, apparently unaware that protocol required him to wait for permission to speak. I'm here to inform you that humanity is prepared to defend our remaining colonies with everything we've got. The assembled aliens broke into that chittering laughter again. Buck's ship was roughly the size of a Scifian shuttlecraft and carried weapons that most species considered decorative at best. Captain Neutron, Snobbington said with exaggerated patience. "While we appreciate your enthusiasm, perhaps you should leave military matters to species better equipped for such endeavors. Your little ship is quite charming, but hardly a threat to anyone." Buck's grin widened in a way that should have reminded someone of humanity's ancestral relationship with apex predators. "Oh, I'm not threatening anyone, Chancellor. Just making sure everyone knows we plan to give as good as we get." General Stabsworth's mandibles clicked with amusement. "Human, your entire fleet consists of 12 ships held together with what you call duct tape. My empire could crush your entire military with a single battle group." "Could you now?" Buck asked with genuine interest. "That's fascinating. You should definitely try that." The casual confidence in Buck's voice caused a brief moment of silence in the chamber, quickly broken by more alien laughter. These humans were clearly delusional about their capabilities, which made their eventual defeat all the more inevitable and entertaining. Rex watched this exchange with growing dread. He had known Buck since their academy days and recognized the signs. Buck only got that relaxed and friendly when he was planning something spectacularly violent. "Chancellor," Rex tried one more time, "I formally request that the Council reconsider its position on human territorial integrity. We're not asking for special treatment, just the same protections afforded to every other member species." Snobbington's response was a masterpiece of condescending bureaucracy. "Ambassador Bulldozer, I think it's time someone explained galactic reality to your species. The strong survive and prosper, while the weak serve the greater good in whatever capacity they can manage. Humanity has proven itself gifted in entertainment, cuisine, and emotional support animals. Your contributions to galactic culture are genuinely appreciated." He paused to let that patronizing praise sink in before delivering the killing blow. "However, your species lacks the fundamental qualities necessary for territorial sovereignty in a competitive galaxy. You have no significant military capability, no strategic resources that can't be better utilized by others, and a disturbing tendency toward emotional decision-making. The Council has decided that humanity would be better served as a protectorate under more capable species." The chamber erupted in approving sounds from dozens of alien throats. Finally, someone had said what they were all thinking. These humans needed to know their place. Rex stood up slowly, his diplomatic training warring with emotions that were becoming increasingly difficult to contain. A protectorate. "Think of it as an opportunity," Snobbington continued cheerfully. "Your people will be relocated to suitable worlds where they can focus on their natural talents while more capable species handle the difficult work of galactic governance." "Relocated," Rex repeated. "The term reservation has such negative connotations," another council member added helpfully. That was when the news arrived that would change everything. A messenger burst into the chamber with word that the human research station Deep Thought, home to 10,000 civilian scientists and their families, had been destroyed by a combined hegemony consortium task force. No survivors. Rex listened to the report in complete silence, then closed his datapad with a soft click that somehow seemed louder than the excited alien chatter filling the chamber. "Well," he said quietly, "I believe that concludes humanity's participation in galactic diplomacy." "Excellent," Snobbington beamed. "I'm so pleased you're finally seeing reason, Ambassador." Rex's smile in response was the kind that made Elder Morth'ka, watching from his observation chamber, immediately begin updating his will. What happened next confused the Galactic Council more than advanced mathematics confused a particularly dim asteroid. Within 48 hours of Rex's final diplomatic mission, every human in alien space simply vanished. Not violently, not dramatically, but with the quiet efficiency of people who had clearly been planning this moment for some time. Human diplomats politely resigned their positions and caught the next transport home. Human merchants suddenly remembered urgent business in human space. Human tourists discovered pressing family emergencies that required immediate attention. Even the humans working as janitors, cooks, and entertainment staff throughout the galaxy packed up and left, citing everything from family reunions to sudden religious conversions that required them to return to human territory. Chancellor Snobbington found this development delightfully convenient. You see, he told the council during their emergency session, this proves that humans are naturally submissive. They're retreating to their assigned space without requiring force. Perhaps we underestimated their capacity for rational thought. The other council members agreed enthusiastically. Several species had already begun dividing up former human territories, planning mining operations and strategic bases with the giddy excitement of children dividing candy. Elder morth'ka watched these proceedings with the growing dread of someone who had seen this exact scenario play out before, usually right before entire civilizations mysteriously disappeared from historical records. As council members, he wheezed through his antiquated translation device, I must once again warn you about underestimating these humans. This retreat is not submission. In my experience, when predator species withdraw this completely, they are preparing for something far more serious than defense. Oh, morth'ka. Snobbington sighed dramatically. Your paranoia about humans has become quite tiresome. Look at the facts. They had 12 tiny ships, primitive weapons, and no allies. Now they've voluntarily retreated to their small corner of space like sensible beings accepting their limitations. General Stabsworth added his own analysis with typical military insight. My scouts report that human space has gone completely dark. No communications, no ship movements, no trading. They've obviously decided to hide until this situation resolves itself. Or, morth'ka suggested quietly, they have decided that talking is no longer productive. The council dismissed this concern with their usual cocktail of arrogance and ignorance. After all, what could humans possibly do? Their military was a joke, their technology was generations behind galactic standards, and they had no significant allies. What the council failed to consider was what humans had been doing during their 2 centuries of polite participation in galactic civilization. While other species had focused on maintaining their military superiority and political dominance, humans had been studying every alien technology, every military strategy, every weakness and strength of every major galactic power. They had been taking notes. Captain Buck Neutron, now commanding what appeared to be humanity's entire military from the bridge of the defiant mediocrity, reviewed those notes with the satisfied expression of a student who had been secretly preparing for the final exam while everyone else was cheating off each other's homework. Communications blackout is complete, his tactical officer reported. All human assets have been withdrawn from alien space. Outstanding, Buck replied cheerfully. And our friends in the galaxy? Still celebrating their upcoming expansion into former human territory, sir. The Zephyrians are already moving mining equipment toward New Detroit. How delightfully premature of them, Buck mused. Well then, ladies and gentlemen, I believe it's time we showed our galactic neighbors exactly what 2 centuries of careful observation and preparation can accomplish. He leaned back in his captain's chair with the relaxed confidence of someone holding 4 aces in a poker game, where everyone else was betting their life savings on a pair of 2s.
Begin Operation Cosmic Payback.
The galaxy was about to learn why Elder morth'ka's people had carved warnings about humans into monuments designed to outlast the heat death of the universe.
Operation Cosmic Payback began at exactly 0800 Standard Galactic Time across 12 star systems simultaneously, which should have been the first clue that humanity had been planning this for significantly longer than anyone suspected. The Zephyrian mining fleet at New Detroit was the first to experience what military historians would later term aggressive educational outreach. They were busily strip mining the planet when their sensors detected a single human ship approaching at sublight speed. One ship? General Stabsworth laughed from his command vessel. The humans send 1 ship against our entire battle fleet. This will be over before my morning meal. The human ship, designated as Reasonable Discussion, hailed the Zephyrian fleet with a polite message. Attention Zephyrian forces, this is Captain Buck Neutron aboard the Reasonable Discussion. You have 30 seconds to withdraw from human space before we begin conflict resolution procedures. Stabsworth's mandibles clicked with amusement. Human captain, you are outnumbered 50-1 by superior ships with superior weapons. Surrender now, and we will make your destruction quick. Counter offer. Buck replied cheerfully. You leave now, and I won't have to explain to your families why you mistook politeness for weakness. The Zephyrian response was predictable, a full alpha strike from their entire fleet, enough firepower to crack a moon. The energy barrage struck the reasonable discussion dead on, creating a light show visible from 3 systems away. When the energy dissipated, the human ship sat exactly where it had been, completely undamaged and somehow looking smug despite being an animate object. Interesting, Buck commented mildly. Our turn. What happened next violated several laws of physics and all standards of sporting behavior. The reasonable discussion didn't fire weapons in any sense that galactic military doctrine recognized. Instead, it seemed to simply suggest that the Zephyrian ships might prefer to be expanding clouds of superheated gas. The universe, apparently finding this suggestion reasonable, complied immediately. In 17 seconds, the entire Zephyrian mining fleet ceased to exist in any meaningful sense. 50 state-of-the-art warships became decorative nebulae, leaving behind only confused radio chatter and a lot of very hot metal. Zephyrian Command, Buck announced pleasantly, this is your educational moment. You attacked human civilians. We have responded proportionally. Please update your records to reflect that humans are no longer accepting territorial disputes as a form of entertainment. Similar scenes played out across the galaxy as human ships emerged from wherever they had been hiding for the past 2 centuries. The hegemony discovered that their fortress world of Supremacy Prime had been surrounded by human vessels that their sensors couldn't detect until it was far too late. The consortium found their slave trading hub of Prophet Station being politely but firmly disassembled by humans who seemed to take personal offense to the concept of forced labor. The most educational moment occurred at the Galactic Council chambers themselves, where Chancellor Snobbington was in the middle of explaining to the emergency session why humanity's disappearance proved their inferiority when every display screen in the PAT chamber activated simultaneously. Captain Buck Neutron's face appeared on every screen, grinning with the satisfied expression of someone who had just won an argument that had been brewing for 2 centuries. Greetings, Galactic Council, Buck said cheerfully. I hope we're not interrupting anything important, but we wanted to provide a brief status update on humanity's position in galactic affairs. The council members sat in stunned silence as Buck continued his presentation with PowerPoint slides that had clearly been prepared well in advance. As you can see from the tactical display, we've taken the liberty of resolving several outstanding territorial disputes. The Zephyrian Empire has been downsized to approximately 12% of its former strength. The hegemony is experiencing what our business consultants call aggressive restructuring. The consortium has been informed that their services are no longer required in any capacity. Snobbington's tentacles had gone completely limp with shock. But how? Your ships, your weapons, they were primitive. Buck's grin widened. Chancellor, did you really think we spent 200 years learning about galactic technology just to make conversation at diplomatic receptions? We've been taking notes, very detailed notes. The truth hit the council like a meteor made of pure realization. While they had been dismissing humans as harmless primitives, humanity had been conducting the most comprehensive intelligence gathering operation in galactic history. Every human diplomat, trader, tourist, and janitor had been studying alien technology, military tactics, and strategic weaknesses. 2 centuries of galactic civilizations showing off for the cute little humans had given humanity a complete blueprint for dismantling the entire established order. The galaxy is under new management, Buck announced pleasantly. Please stand by for further instructions. The aftermath of Operation Cosmic Payback resembled nothing so much as a cosmic scale game of musical chairs, where humanity had quietly removed all the chairs while everyone else was dancing. Ambassador Rex Bulldozer returned to the Galactic Council chambers 3 days later, stepping over the debris of shattered alien egos and finding most of the surviving council members huddled in what had previously been the janitor's closet.
Gentlemen, ladies, and assorted life forms, Rex announced cheerfully, I trust everyone has had time to review our recent policy adjustments.
Chancellor Snobbington emerged from behind a mop bucket, his previously immaculate appearance now resembling something that had been through a diplomatic blender set to puree. Ambassador Bulldozer, surely we can discuss this reasonably. The council acknowledges that perhaps we underestimated humanity's capabilities. Oh, did you now? Rex sat down in what had been Snobbington's chair, putting his feet up on the massive desk with casual confidence. That's fascinating. Elder morth'ka, would you care to comment? Elder morth'ka wheeled his ancient frame into the chamber, his breathing apparatus making sounds that might have been laughter or the death rattle of galactic civilization as they knew it. I warned them, he wheezed with deep satisfaction. For 2 centuries, I warned them. Never give humans a reason to fight, I said. Did they listen? Of course not. Too busy being impressed with their own superiority to notice that the humans were taking inventory of everything. Rex nodded sympathetically. It's amazing how much you can learn about someone's weaknesses when they spend 200 years explaining exactly how superior they are to you. The surviving council members began babbling simultaneously about misunderstandings, cultural differences, and the possibility of negotiating humanity's return to their previous status as galactic pets. Rex listened to this with the patient expression of someone watching small children explain why they shouldn't be punished for burning down the house. Here's the thing, Rex said when the babbling died down. We tried diplomacy, we tried being reasonable. We tried being the better species. And what did we get for our trouble? Genocide disguised as urban renewal and slavery marketed as job training. He leaned forward, his diplomatic smile taking on edges that could cut through neutronium. So we decided to try something else. We call it aggressive negotiation. General Stabsworth, one of the few Zephyrian survivors, clicked his mandibles nervously. What do you want from us? What? Rex looked genuinely surprised. We don't want anything from you. We're past the wanting stage. We're now in the telling stage. He activated a holographic display showing the new galactic political map. As you can see, we've made some adjustments to territorial boundaries. Slave trading is now punishable by what we call aggressive educational outreach. Unprovoked attacks on civilian populations result in immediate downsizing of the aggressor's military capabilities, and anyone who confuses politeness with weakness gets a personal demonstration of why that's a poor life choice. The council members stared at the display in growing horror. The map showed human influence extending throughout most of known space, not through conquest, but through what appeared to be voluntary alliance requests from species who had suddenly developed a deep appreciation for human diplomatic skills. You're taking over the galaxy, Snobbington whispered. Taking over? Rex looked genuinely hurt. Chancellor, that's such an ugly way to put it. We prefer to think of it as accepting greater responsibility for galactic affairs, since the previous management proved so spectacularly incompetent. Elder morth'ka's breathing apparatus wheezed with what was definitely laughter now. The best part is, they'll probably do a better job than we did. Rex stood up and straightened his diplomatic jacket with casual dignity. The new galactic charter is being distributed to all surviving governments. Highlights include basic rights for all sentient species, protection for civilian populations, and a comprehensive ban on treating other beings as entertainment. Revolutionary concepts, I know. He paused at the chamber door and turned back with that same diplomatic smile that had fooled everyone for 2 centuries. Oh, and council members, welcome to the new galaxy. Try not to give us any more reasons to demonstrate human conflict resolution techniques. We're still working on making them more proportional. As Rex left the chamber, Elder morth'ka wheeled closer to the traumatized council members. I tried to warn you, he wheezed one final time. But honestly, I think this is going to work out much better for everyone. The galaxy had learned, perhaps too late, that sometimes the most dangerous predators are the ones who spend centuries convincing you they're harmless. And humanity, having finally stopped being polite, was ready to start being galactic civilization's very first competent management team.